Captain Jake Morrison walked slowly across the bridge of the UES horizon. The stars outside the big window looked peaceful and quiet. His crew was doing their normal work, checking instruments and watching for any problems. They had been flying through space for 3 weeks now, looking for anything strange or dangerous in this part of the galaxy. Jake was a tall man with brown hair and kind eyes. He had been the captain of this ship for 5 years. His crew trusted him completely. They knew he would always make the right choice, even when things got scary or difficult. Lieutenant Amy Carter sat at the communications desk. She was young, maybe 25 years old, with red hair and a serious face. She always listened carefully to all the signals that came through space. Most of the time, she heard nothing but static and empty noise. But today was different. Amy's eyes got wide as she heard something new coming through her headphones. She turned up the volume and listened more carefully. The sound was weak and full of static, but there was definitely something there. It was not like any human signal she had ever heard before. Captain Amy called out, her voice excited but worried. "I think you need to hear this. We have a signal coming in, but it's not from any human ship or colony." Jake walked over to Amy's station. Chief Engineer Ben Hayes looked up from his work too. Ben was a big man with gray hair and strong hands. He had been fixing things in space for 20 years. Nothing usually surprised him anymore. "What kind of signal is it?" Jake asked. Amy pressed some buttons and made the sound come through the bridge speakers. Everyone could hear it now. The signal was very weak and broken up, but underneath all the static, they could hear voices. The voices sounded desperate and afraid. They were speaking in a language that no human had ever heard before. "The computer is trying to translate it," Amy said, watching her screen. "But it's having trouble. The language is completely new." Ben walked over to look at the signal readings. "Whatever is sending this is either very far away or running out of power. Maybe both." "Ach!" Jake listened to the strange voices. Even though he could not understand the words, he could hear the fear and sadness in them. These were people who needed help. It did not matter what species they were. The computer finally started to pick out some words. The translation was rough, but Jake could understand enough. The voices were saying things like, "Help us. We are dying. Please come. And anyone who can hear this." "It's definitely a distress call," Amy said. "And Captain, there are coordinates in the signal. Numbers that tell us where they are." Navigation. Officer Lisa Park heard this and quickly started working on her computer. Lisa was a smart woman with black hair and quick fingers. She could find her way through space better than anyone else on the ship. "The coordinates point to a star system about 6 hours away if we go at full speed," Lisa said. "But Captain, that area is not on any of our maps. No human has ever been there before." Jake thought about what to do. The rules said that when humans met aliens for the first time, they had to be very careful. But the rules also said that humans should help anyone who was in trouble. These voices sounded like they were in very bad trouble. "Sir," Dr. Susan Blake said from her station, "if there are people dying out there, we have to help them."
Amen.
"It's what we do." Dr. Blake was the ship's doctor. She was a calm woman with blonde hair and gentle hands. She had saved many lives during her time on the horizon. She believed that all life was important, human or not. Jake looked around at his crew. He could see that they all wanted to help. That was the kind of people they were. They could not ignore someone calling for help, even if it might be dangerous. "What do you think, Ben?" Jake asked his chief engineer. "Can the ship handle a rescue mission?" Ben nodded. "The horizon is ready for anything, Captain. We have medical supplies, food, and tools. If someone needs help, we can give it." The alien voices continued to come through the speakers. They sounded weaker now, like they were getting tired or running out of time. Jake made his decision. "Lisa, set course for those coordinates. Maximum speed." Jake sat down in his captain's chair. "Amy, try to send a message back to them. Tell them we heard their call and we are coming to help." Amy worked quickly on her computer. She sent a simple message in basic universal code that most space travelers could understand. "This is the human ship US Horizon. We've received your distress signal. We are coming to help you. Please respond." The bridge got quiet as everyone waited for an answer. For a long time, there was nothing but static. Then, suddenly, a voice came through the speakers. It was clearer now, and the computer could translate. "It better human ship? Did you say human?" The voice sounded very surprised and maybe a little scared. "Yes," Amy replied. "We are humans from Earth. We heard your distress call, and we want to help you." There was another long pause, and the voice came back and it sounded worried. "We've heard stories about humans. They say you are Deathworlders. It's very dangerous. We did not think you would answer our call." Jake was confused. Deathworlders. What does that mean? Amy looked at her captain. "I don't know, sir, but they sound afraid of us," the alien voice continued. "We are called Volani. Our ship is badly damaged. We have been drifting in space for many days. Our people are getting sick, and we are running out of food and air. We sent the distress call hoping someone would help us, but we did not expect humans to come." "Why are you afraid of us?" Jake asked into the microphone. "Because the stories say that humans come from a world of death and violence. They say you are fighters who destroy everything you touch. We thought if humans found us, they would attack us while we are weak." Dr. Blake looked angry. "It's not true at all. We're here to help." Jake spoke into the microphone again. "We are not here to hurt you. We are here to help." "What do you need?" The Volani voice was quiet for a moment. "You really want to help us? You will not harm us." "We will not harm you," Jake promised. "We came all this way because we heard you calling for help. Tell us what is wrong." "Our ship was attacked by space pirates 3 days ago. They damaged our engines and took some of our supplies. We cannot move, and we cannot fix the damage ourselves. Many of our people are hurt. Our children are getting sick because the air system is broken." Jake felt sorry for them. He looked at his crew and saw that they all wanted to help these strangers. "We will be there in about 6 hours. Try to hold on until then. We will fix your ship and take care of your people. You would really do this for us, even though we are not human," as Jake said firmly. "We will do this because it is the right thing to do. All life is important to us." Volani sounded like they were crying. "Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll try to stay alive until you get here." As the horizon jumped into faster-than-light travel, Jake thought about what the Volani had said. Other species in the galaxy thought humans were dangerous Deathworlders. Maybe they were right about the dangerous part. Humans could fight when they had to. But they were also the kind of people who would travel across space to help strangers in trouble. Jake looked at his crew working hard to prepare for the rescue. They were checking medical supplies, preparing repair tools, and getting ready to save lives. Maybe being from a death world had made humans strong and tough. But it had also made them care about others who were suffering. The horizon flew through space toward the unknown, carrying hope to people who had given up hope. Jake did not know that this rescue would change everything between humans and the rest of the galaxy. He only knew that people needed help, and humans always answered the call. The horizon came out of faster-than-light travel with a shudder that Jake felt through the floor of the bridge. What they saw outside the main window made everyone stop and stare. A huge alien ship was floating in space near a red star that was slowly dying. The ship was beautiful, but also very damaged. The alien ship looked like it was made of crystal and metal mixed together. It was much bigger than the horizon, maybe 3 times as long. Jake could see that it had been hurt badly. There were holes in the side where weapons had hit it. Pieces of the ship were floating around it like broken glass. "My God," whispered Lisa Park as she looked at the alien ship. "It's beautiful, but someone really hurt it." Jake stood up from his chair and walked to the big window. He had never seen anything like this ship before. It was clearly made by people, who were very different from humans. The way it was built showed that these aliens thought about things in ways that humans did not. "Amy, try to contact them again," Jake said. "Let them know we are here." Amy worked at her communication station. "This is the UES Horizon, calling the Volani ship. We have arrived at your location. Please respond." The answer came quickly this time. The voice sounded tired, but also relieved. "Human ship Horizon, this is Ambassador Keth of the Volani Republic. We are so grateful that you came. We're beginning to think we would die out here. We're here to help," Jake said into the microphone. "What is your situation?"
"Ow.
"It is very bad," Ambassador Keth replied. We have about 300 people on this ship. Many are hurt. Our engines do not work. Our food is almost gone. Worst of all, our air cleaning system is broken. The air is getting bad, and our children are getting sick. Dr. Susan Blake stepped forward. This is Dr. Blake, the ship's doctor. How many injured do you have? About 50 people have injuries from the attack. 10 are very serious. But Dr. Blake, we are more worried about the children. There are 40 young ones on this ship, and they are having trouble breathing. Dr. Blake looked at Jake. Captain, we need to get over there right away. Children can get sick very fast when the air is bad. Jake nodded.
Ambassador Kath, we want
to send some of our people to your ship to help. Can you make it safe for us to come aboard? There was a long pause. Then Ambassador Kath spoke again, and his voice sounded worried.
Morrison.
I must ask you something. The stories we have heard about humans say that you are very violent. They say you come from a world so dangerous that it made you into warriors. Is this true? Jake was surprised by the question. We can fight when we have to, but we are not here to fight. We are here to help you. But the stories say that humans see weakness and attack. They say you cannot help yourselves. You see someone who is helpless, and you must hurt them. Ben Hayes looked angry. That's not true at all. We came here because you needed help. Ambassador Keth continued. Please understand, Captain Morrison. We are a peaceful people. We have never fought a war. Solve problems by talking, not fighting. When we heard that humans were coming, some of my people became very afraid. Jake felt sad that these people were scared of him and his crew. Ambassador Keth, I give you my word that we will not hurt you. We only want to help you fix your ship and save your people. Your word. Yes, I promise you, as the captain of this ship and as a human being, that we will not harm you. We will only help. Amy looked at her captain. She had worked with Jake for 3 years, and she knew he always kept his promises. If he said they would not hurt the aliens, then they would not hurt them. The bridge speakers were quiet for a moment. Then Ambassador Keth spoke again. Captain Morrison, I will trust you. But please, bring only a few people at first. Let my people see that you mean no harm. Of course, Jake said. I will bring Dr. Blake to help your injured, and Ben Hayes to look at your engines. We will also bring medical supplies and food. You have food you can share with us. Yes, we have plenty of food, and medicine, and tools to fix your ship. Ambassador Kef sounded like he was crying. You would give us your food, even though we are strangers? That is what people do when others are in trouble, Jake said simply. They share what they have. The conversation paused again, and Ambassador Keth said something that surprised everyone on the bridge. Captain Morrison, I think the stories about humans are wrong. You do not sound like monsters. You sound like ... like good people. Dr. Blake smiled. Try to be good people, Ambassador Keth. Now, can you lower your shield so we can come help your wounded? Yes, Dr. Blake. We will lower our shields. But please, move slowly. My people are very frightened. Jake turned to his crew. Ben, get your tools. Suzanne, pack all the medical supplies you think you might need. Amy, you stay here and keep the communication open. Lisa, bring us close to their ship, but be very gentle. As the horizon moved closer to the alien ship, Jake could see more details. The ship was indeed beautiful, but it was also very different from human ships. Where human ships were built to be strong and practical, this ship was built to be elegant and graceful. It looked like art floating in space. Captain Ben said as he packed his tools. Their ship is much more advanced than ours. The energy readings are incredible. But if they cannot fix it themselves, there must be something really wrong. Dr. Blake was filling bags with medicine and bandages. I have never treated aliens before, but I will do my best. Pain is pain and hurt is hurt, no matter what species you are. The horizon's smaller shuttle bay opened, and Jake, Ben, and Dr. Blake got into a small ship that could carry them to the alien vessel. As they flew across the space between the two ships, Jake could see alien faces looking out at them through windows. The faces were strange but also familiar. They had big eyes and looked scared, but Jake could tell they were people, just like humans in many ways. This is amazing, Dr. Blake said as they got closer to the alien ship. First contact with another Intelligent species? We are making history. The alien ship had a door that opened for them, and they flew their shuttle inside. The inside of the ship was just as beautiful as the outside. Everything was smooth and curved, with soft lights that changed color. But Jake could also see the damage. Smoke was coming from some areas, and there were holes in the walls. When they got out of their shuttle, they saw their first Volani in person. Ambassador Keth was waiting for them. He was tall and thin, with skin that looked almost see-through. His eyes were very large and a beautiful blue color. He wore long robes that seemed to flow like water. Captain Morrison, Ambassador Keth said, and his voice was musical and soft. Thank you for coming. I was not sure you would really help us. Stepped forward and held out his hand. We always help people who are in trouble. It is who we are. Ambassador Keth looked at Jake's hand for a moment, then reached out and took it. Jake shook his hand gently, the way humans do when they meet someone new. Ambassador Keth seemed surprised by this. This is how humans greet each other, Ambassador? Keth asked. Yes. It means we are friends. Friends, Ambassador Keth repeated the word slowly. I like that word. Captain Morrison, I think the galaxy has been wrong about humans. You are not the monsters from the stories. Dr. Blake stepped forward. Ambassador Keth, I need to see your injured people right away, and I especially need to check on the children. Of course, Dr. Blake. Follow me. But please, be patient with my people. They are still scared. As they walked through the ship, Jake saw many Volani watching them. They were all beautiful in their own way, but they looked afraid. Some of them hid behind corners or in doorways. Children peeked out from behind their parents. They think we are going to hurt them, Ben said quietly. Then we will show them that we are not, Jake replied.
Ow.
We will show them what humans are, really like. Ambassador Keth led them to a large room where many Volani were lying on beds. Some were hurt from the attack, and others were sick from the bad air. Dr. Blake immediately went to work, checking on the most serious cases. This injury is bad, but I can fix it, she said to a Volani who had been hurt in the attack. Do not worry. I will take care of you. The Volani looked surprised. You will help me even though I am not human, of course, Dr. Blake said as she cleaned the wound. A doctor helps anyone who is hurt. That is what doctors do. Ben started looking at the damaged parts of the ship. Oh, this is incredible technology. He said to Ambassador Keth. But I can see why you cannot fix it. You would need special tools and parts that we do not have. So you cannot help us? Ben smiled. I did not say that. I said we do not have the right parts. But humans are very good at making things work with whatever we have. We call it improvising. Improvising. Finding a different way to solve the problem. Using what we have to make something that works. Ambassador Keth watched as Ben started working on the ship's engines using tools and parts from the human shuttle. You can really fix this with human equipment? Maybe not perfectly, but I can make it work. That is what we do. We make things work. As the day continued, the Volani began to see that the humans were not the monsters from their stories. They were people who worked hard to help others. They shared their food, gave their medicine, and used their skills to fix things that seemed impossible to fix. Jake watched his crew work and felt proud of them. They were showing the galaxy what humans were really like. Not monsters, but helpers. Not destroyers, but builders. The next morning, Ben Hayes woke up on the floor of the Volani engine room. He had been working all night to fix their power systems. His back hurt and his hands were dirty, but he felt good. The engines were finally starting to work again. Chief Engineer Veth, the Volani who was in charge of their ship's machines, watched Ben work with amazement. Veth was a tall, thin alien with silver skin and 4 arms. He had been trying to fix the engines for 3 days without success. I still do not understand how you did this, Veth said, looking at Ben's repairs. You took parts from completely different systems and made them work together. This should not be possible. Ben wiped his hands on a dirty cloth and smiled. Earth, we learn to make things work with whatever we have. We call it jury rigging. Sometimes the simple solution is the best solution. Veth examined the power coupling that Ben had created. It was made from pieces of the navigation system, some spare wire from the human shuttle, and a power cell from a broken communication device. By all Volani understanding of technology, it should not work. But it did. Your species thinks very differently than we do, Veth said. When our machines break, we replace them with exact copies. We have never thought to use parts from other systems. That is because you have never had to, Ben replied. Your world is peaceful. Your technology always works perfectly. But humans come from a world that tries to kill us every day. We learned to fix things quickly with whatever we could find, or we died. Ben showed Veth how he had connected the different systems. This power coupling is not as good as your original one, but it will work long enough to get you home. Sometimes that is all you need. In the medical bay, Dr. Susan Blake was teaching Volani healers about human medicine. The Volani had amazing medical technology, but they had never dealt with injuries from combat or accidents. Their world was so safe that they rarely got hurt. This is called a bandage, Dr. Blake explained to healer Nira, a gentle Volani female. With pale blue skin, it is very simple, but it can save lives. Nira looked at the simple cloth bandage with confusion. But how does it heal the wound? Where is the healing energy? It does not heal the wound, Dr. Blake said patiently. It stops the bleeding and keeps the wound clean while the body heals itself. Sometimes the simplest tools are the most useful. Dr. Blake was treating a young Volani boy who had been hurt when the pirates attacked their ship. The boy's name was Kello, and he had a deep cut on his arm. The Volani healers had been trying to heal it with their advanced machines, but the machines were damaged and not working properly. This might hurt a little, Dr. Blake warned as she cleaned the wound, but it will feel better soon. Kello was brave and did not cry, even though Dr. Blake could see that it hurt. She carefully sewed the wound closed with thread, something the Volani had never seen before. You are putting string into his arm, Nira asked, looking worried. String will hold the wound closed while it heals, Dr. Blake explained. In a few days, the wound will be strong enough that we can take the string out. Humans have been doing this for thousands of years. After she finished, Dr. Blake gave Kello a small candy from her medical kit. The boy tasted it and smiled. It was the first time she had seen a Volani child smile since they arrived. Thank you, Dr. Blake, Kello said in his musical voice. The pain is much better now. Nira watched Dr. Blake work with growing admiration. Your medicine is so simple, but it works so well. We have machines that can heal almost anything, but when they break, we cannot help anyone. Your methods work even without machines. That is because humans learned to heal people long before we had machines, Dr. Blake replied. We had to learn to help each other with our hands and our hearts. Meanwhile, Captain Jake Morrison was learning about Volani culture from Ambassador Keth. They were walking through the ship's beautiful gardens, which were somehow still alive despite all the damage to the ship. Your people are very different from what we expected, Ambassador Keth said as they walked past glowing flowers that hummed soft music. The stories said that humans were cruel and violent, but you are kind and helpful. We can be violent when we have to be, Jake admitted. Our world taught us to fight, but it also taught us to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Ambassador Keth stopped walking and looked at Jake. Tell me about your world. What made humans become Deathworlders? Jake thought about how to explain Earth to someone who had never known danger. Earth is a beautiful world, but it is also very dangerous. We have storms that can destroy entire cities. We have animals that hunt us. We have diseases that can kill us. The weather can freeze us or burn us. Even the ground sometimes shakes and breaks apart. That sounds terrible, Ambassador Keth said with horror. How do you live in such a place? We learn to work together, Jake replied. When danger comes, humans help each other. We share food, we build shelters together, we take care of the sick and wounded. We learn that we are stronger when we help each other. He continued walking through the gardens. Jake noticed that many Volani were watching them from a distance. They were still afraid, but they were also curious. Your people are starting to trust us, Jake observed. Yes, Ambassador Keth agreed. They see how hard your crew works to help us. They see that you share your food and medicine without asking for anything in return. They are beginning to understand that the stories about humans were wrong. A small group of Volani children came running through the gardens playing a game that looked like tag. When they saw Jake and Ambassador Keth, they stopped and stared. One of the children, a little girl with golden skin, came closer. "Are you really a Deathworlder?" she asked Jake in her sweet voice. Jake knelt down so he was at her eye level. "I am a human, and humans come from a world that is very different from yours. But I am not here to hurt anyone. I am here to help." The little girl studied his face carefully. "You do not look scary. You look nice." "I try to be nice," Jake said with a smile. "What is your name?" "I am Pela," the girl said. "Thank you for helping us. My mother says that without you, we would all die." "We will not let that happen," Jake promised. "We will make sure you get home safely." Pela smiled and ran back to her friends. Jake watched them play and felt a deep sadness. These children had never known fear or danger. They had grown up in a world of peace and safety. But now they were learning that the galaxy could be a dangerous place. "She likes you," Ambassador Keth observed. "Children are good judges of character. If Pela trusts you, then you must be a good person." Back in the engine room, Ben was training a team of Volani engineers to do emergency repairs. The Volani were smart and learned quickly, but they had never had to work under pressure before. Remember Ben said as he showed them how to bypass? "A damaged power relay? When things go wrong, do not panic. Think about what you have available. Use what works and work around what is broken." Engineer Veth was trying to copy Ben's repair technique. "This is very difficult," he said. "We are taught to follow exact procedures. What you are doing has no procedures." "That is the point," Ben replied. "When you are in an emergency, there is no time for procedures. You have to think fast and be creative." Ben showed them how to use a piece of metal from a broken chair to fix a damaged circuit. "See, this piece of metal is not meant to be part of an engine, but it conducts electricity, so it works." The Volani engineers practiced the repair techniques, but Jake could see that it was hard for them. They were used to having perfect tools and perfect conditions. The idea of making something work with broken parts was completely new to them. "Your species is very adaptable," Veth said to Ben. "You can make anything work with anything." "How did you learn to do this?" "Oh, we had to learn," Ben replied. "On Earth, things break all the time. Storms damage our machines. Animals break our equipment. We learned to fix things quickly, or people died." Dr. Blake came into the engine room carrying her medical bag. "Ben, I need you to look at something. The medical bay's power is fluctuating, and I am worried about the patients on life support." "No problem," Ben said, picking up his tools. Want to help me fix a medical machine?" Veth looked nervous. "I do not know anything about medical equipment." "I know about power systems," Ben said, "and I know about fixing things. Together, we can figure it out." As they worked together, Veth began to understand something important about humans. They did not just fix machines, they fixed problems. They looked at every situation and found a way to make it better. "You are teaching us more than just repair techniques," Veth said, as they restored power to the medical bay. "You are teaching us to think differently." "That is what humans do," Ben replied. "We adapt, we learn, we find new ways to solve old problems." Later that day, the entire human crew gathered in the Volani dining hall for a meal. The Volani had prepared food that humans could eat, and the humans had shared some of their own food supplies. It was the first time the two species had eaten together. Jake looked around the room and saw humans and Volani talking and laughing together. The fear was gone. In its place was curiosity and friendship. Ambassador Keth stood up to speak. "Friends," he said to the mixed group, 3 days ago, we thought we were going to die. We sent out a distress call, but we did not expect anyone to answer. On the 4th day of the rescue, something went very wrong. Lieutenant Amy Carter was sleeping in her quarters on the horizon when alarms started going off all over the ship. She jumped out of bed and ran to the bridge as fast as she could. "Hey, what is happening?" Amy asked as she reached her communication station. Captain Jake Morrison was already on the bridge, looking worried. "The Volani ship is in trouble again. Their life support system is failing faster than we thought. They might only have a few hours of good air left. Amy quickly contacted the Volani ship. Ambassador Keth, this is Amy Carter on the horizon. We see that you have new problems with your air system. Ambassador Keth's voice came through the speakers, and he sounded very scared. Yes, Amy. Our engineers say that the damage was worse than we knew. The system that cleans our air is breaking down completely. Cannot fix it. Dr. Susan Blake ran onto the bridge. She had been sleeping too, but the emergency call woke her up. How many people are on that ship? She asked. 300, Jake replied, including 40 children. Dr. Blake's face went pale. Captain, we need to get them off that ship right now. The Horizon can support maybe 50 extra people, but not 300. Ben Hayes was already on his way to the Volani ship. With a team of engineers, his voice came over the radio. Captain, I am looking at their air system now. It is really bad. The machines that make oxygen are dying, and the machines that clean the air are almost completely broken. Jake thought quickly. They could not fit. All the Volani on the horizon, and there was no other ship close enough to help. They had to find another way. Ben, how long do you need to fix it? Jake asked. At least 12 hours, maybe more, Ben replied. And that is, if everything goes perfectly. We might not have that much time. Jake made a decision that surprised everyone, and we stay and fix it. All of us. Do not leave until everyone is safe. Amy looked at her captain with concern.
Out of the ship.
If their life support fails while we are over there, we could all die too. And we better make sure it does not fail, Jake said firmly. We are not leaving these people to die. Dr. Blake nodded. I agree with the captain. We came here to save lives, and that is what we are going to do. Jake got on the communication system and spoke to the entire crew of the Horizon. This is the captain. We have a situation. Volani's ship is in serious danger, and they need our help. I am asking for volunteers to go over there and work around the clock to save these people. It will be dangerous, and we might not make it back, but we cannot leave them to die. The response was immediate. Every single person on the Horizon volunteered to help. Engineers, doctors, security officers, even the cook wanted to go help the Volani. I am proud of all of you, Jake said. Let us go save some lives. Within an hour, most of the Horizon's crew was on the Volani ship. They brought every tool, every spare part, and every piece of equipment they could carry. The Horizon was left with just a skeleton crew to keep it running. Ben Hayes set up work teams all over the Volani ship. Human engineers worked side by side with Volani technicians, trying to fix systems that were falling apart. They had never worked together before, but they learned to communicate quickly. We need more power to the oxygen generators, Ben told. Engineer Veth, can you reroute power from the decorative lighting? Veth looked shocked. You want to turn off our beautiful lights? It is either the lights or the air, Ben said. Which one do you need more? Veth understood immediately and started turning off the lights throughout the ship. The Volani ship became darker, but the oxygen generators started working better. Dr. Blake set up a medical station in the main corridor. She was treating Volani, who were getting sick from the bad air. The children were the most affected, and she was very worried about them. How are they doing? Asked a healer, Nira, who had been working with Dr. Blake for days now. Not good, Dr. Blake replied honestly. The little ones cannot handle bad air as well as adults. We need to fix this soon. Amy Carter had not slept in 36 hours. She was maintaining communications between all the work teams, making sure everyone knew what was happening. Her eyes were red and tired, but she kept working. Team 3, this is Amy, she said into her radio. Team 1 needs more wire. Do you have any spare? We have some, came the reply. We will bring it right over. Navigation Officer Lisa Park was not just sitting around either. She had brought her computers to the Volani ship and was calculating backup plans. If they could not fix the life support, she wanted to know exactly how to evacuate people as quickly as possible. I have mapped out every escape route on this ship, Lisa told Jake. If we have to evacuate, I know the fastest way. To get everyone out? Jake was everywhere at once, checking on work teams, helping where he could, and making sure everyone stayed focused. He had not eaten anything in 12 hours, but he did not care. There were lives to save. The Volani watched the humans work. With growing amazement, these people had volunteered to risk their lives for strangers. They were working without rest, without complaining, without asking for anything in return. Young Pela, the little Volani girl who had talked to Jake in the gardens, found him working in one of the engine rooms. She was carrying a cup of water. "Mr. Jake," she said in her sweet voice, "my mother said you need to drink water or you will get sick." Jake stopped working and knelt down to take the water from her. "Thank you, Pela. That is very kind of you. Are you going to save us?" she asked with big, trusting eyes. Jake looked at this innocent child and felt a strong determination fill his heart. "Yes, Pela, we are going to save you, I promise." Pela smiled and hugged Jake's leg before running back to her mother. Jake watched her go and turned back to his work with renewed energy. Ambassador Keth found Dr. Blake in the medical station. She was treating 3 children who were having trouble breathing. She looked exhausted, but she kept working. Ambassador Keth said, "You have been working for almost 2 days without rest. You need to sleep." "I will sleep when these children are safe," Dr. Blake replied, not looking up from her work. "But if you get too tired, you might make mistakes." Dr. Blake finally looked at him. "Ambassador Keth, on Earth, when children are in danger, adults do not sleep. We do whatever it takes to save them. That is who we are." Ambassador Keth watched her work for a moment. "I am beginning to understand why your species survived on such a dangerous world. You never give up." "Never," Dr. Blake agreed, "especially when it comes to protecting children." Throughout the ship, humans and Volani were working together like they had known each other for years. Language barriers disappeared as they focused on their common goal, as the Volani learned to hand tools to human engineers before they asked for them. The humans learned to read Volani computer displays and understand their technology. "This is amazing," Engineer Veth said to Ben as they worked on a broken air recycler. "Our people are working together like one crew." "That is what happens when people have a common goal," Ben replied. "It does not matter where you come from. What matters is that you want to help." By the end of the second day, they were making real progress. The oxygen generators were working much better, and some of the air cleaning systems were coming back online. But it was not enough yet. They needed more time. Jake called a meeting of all the human team leaders. They gathered in a small room that was barely big enough for all of them. "How are we doing?" Jake asked. "We are getting there," Ben replied. "But we need at least 6 more hours, maybe 8. Dr. Blake looked worried. "The children are getting weaker. I do not think they can wait 8 more hours." Amy had an idea. "What if we could boost the air cleaning in just one section of the ship? Make a safe area where the children and the sickest people could go." Lisa looked at her computer. "The dining hall is the biggest open space. If we could clean the air there and seal it off from the rest of the ship, it might work." Ben nodded. "We could do that. It would mean taking power and resources away from fixing the whole ship, but we could make one room safe." Jake made the decision quickly. "Do it. Save the children first. We can worry about the rest of the ship later." The plan worked. Within 4 hours, they had turned the dining hall into a safe room with clean air. All the children and the sickest. Adults were moved there. Dr. Blake set up her medical equipment in the room and finally relaxed a little. "The children are breathing easier now," she reported to Jake. "They are going to be okay." With the most vulnerable people safe, the work teams could focus on fixing the rest of the ship without worrying about time running out. The humans continued working through the night, and the Volani worked alongside them. As the sun rose on the 5th day, Ben Hayes made an announcement that everyone had been waiting for. "Life support is fully operational," he said over the ship's communication system. "The air is clean, the oxygen levels are normal, and the system is stable." Cheers went up throughout the ship. Humans and Volani hugged each other, cried with relief, and celebrated together. They had done it. They had saved everyone. Jake found himself in the dining hall, surrounded by Volani children who wanted to thank him. Pela was there, along with her friend Kello, who Dr. Blake had treated on the first day. "You kept your promise," Pela said too. "Jake, you saved us. We all saved each other," Jake replied. Humes and Volani working together. 2 weeks later, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the horizon and watched through the main window as the most beautiful planet he had ever seen came into view. Volani Prime was like a giant crystal floating in space with blue oceans and white clouds that sparkled in the light of 3 golden suns. "It is incredible," whispered Dr. Susan Blake as she joined Jake at the window. "I've never seen anything so beautiful." The Volani homeworld looked like something from a dream. Cities that looked like they were made of glass and light covered the countenance. Tall towers reached up into the sky, connected by bridges that seemed to float in the air. Everything was smooth and graceful, without any sharp edges or ugly buildings. Captain Amy Carter called from her communication station. "We are receiving a message from the planet. They want to talk to you." Jake walked over to Amy's station. "Put them through." A new voice came through the speakers, deeper and more formal than Ambassador Keth's voice. "Human Vessel Horizon, this is Prime Minister Yalin of the Volani Republic. We welcome you to our world." "Thank you, Prime Minister Yalin," Jake replied. "We are honored to be here. Captain Morrison, the story of what you did for our people has spread throughout our entire civilization. We wish to meet with you and your crew to thank you properly." Ambassador Keth's voice joined the conversation. "Captain Morrison, my government has prepared a great celebration in your honor. The entire planet wants to meet the humans who saved us." Jake felt a little embarrassed. "We only did what anyone would do. We helped people who were in trouble." "That is exactly why we want to celebrate you," Prime Minister Yolin said. "Because you think helping others is normal and natural. That is a very special thing." As the Horizon and the repaired Volani ship descended toward the planet, Jake could see crowds of Volani gathering in the cities below. They were coming out of their beautiful buildings to watch the human ship arrive. "Look at all those people," Ben Hayes said, joining the others at the window. "They are all here to see us. I think we are about to become very famous," Lisa Park added with a smile. When they landed at the main spaceport, Jake was amazed by what he saw. Thousands of Volani had come to greet them. They were holding flowers and singing beautiful songs. Children were waving colorful banners with words written in both Volani and English. "Welcome, heroes," read one banner. "Thank you for saving our people," read another. Ambassador Keth was waiting for them at the bottom of the ship's ramp, along with several other important-looking Volani. But Jake was most happy to see that Pela, Kello, and the other children from the ship were there too. "Captain Morrison," Ambassador Keth said with a big smile, "welcome to Volani Prime. Let me introduce you to our leaders." Jake met Prime Minister Yalin, who was tall and elegant with golden skin that seemed to glow in the sunlight. He also met General Nora, who was in charge of the Volani military, and Chief Scientist Mech, who wanted to learn about human technology. Captain Morrison, Prime Minister Yolin, said, "Before we begin the celebration, I must ask you something important. What do humans want in return for saving our people?" Jake was confused by the question. "We do not want anything in return." "Helped because it was the right thing to do." "Surely you want something," General Nora said. "Trade agreements? Technology? Military alliances? In our experience, no one helps others without wanting something back." Dr. Blake stepped forward. "With respect, General Nora, you are wrong. Sometimes people help others simply because they care about life and suffering. That is what we did." Chief Scientist Mech looked fascinated. "You really expect nothing in return? No payment? No reward?" "The knowledge that we save lives is reward enough," Ben replied. "That is how humans think." The Volani leaders looked at each other with amazement. This was completely different from what they had expected. They had prepared to negotiate and make deals with the humans, but the humans wanted nothing except friendship. "This is very strange, Prime Minister," Yolan said, "but also very wonderful. Come, let us show you our world." The celebration that followed was unlike anything the humans had ever experienced. The entire capital city had been decorated with lights and flowers. Music played from everywhere, and the air smelled like sweet perfume. Volani families came up to the humans to thank them personally for saving their relatives. Jake found himself surrounded by Volani children who wanted to hear stories about Earth. He told them about oceans and mountains, about snow and rain, about animals and forests. Children listened with wide eyes, fascinated by this dangerous world that had created such good people. Your world sounds scary, but exciting, said Pela, who had stayed close to Jake throughout the day. I would like to see it someday. Maybe you will, Jake said. Maybe humans and Volani will visit each other's worlds often. That evening, there was a formal dinner in the Great Hall of the Volani government building. The hall was enormous, with a ceiling that looked like the night sky, complete with moving stars. Hundreds of Volani leaders and citizens were there to honor the human crew. Prime Minister Yolan stood up to make a speech. My friends, he said, and his voice carried throughout. The hall today, we celebrate something very special. We celebrate the day we learned that the stories about humans were wrong. The hall became quiet as everyone listened. For many years, we have heard tales of the Deathworlders called humans, Prime Minister Yolan continued. We were told they were violent, dangerous creatures who destroyed everything they touched. We were told to fear them. He gestured toward Jake and his crew. But these humans showed us the truth. Yes, they are strong and capable of fighting. Yes, they come from a dangerous world that made them tough. But they are also kind, generous, and brave. They risk their lives to save strangers. They share what they have with those who have nothing. They never give up when people need help. The Volani in the hall began to clap, a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Captain Morrison, Prime Minister Yolan said, turning to Jake on behalf. Of all Volani everywhere, I formally invite humanity to join the Galactic Council. We propose that humans be given a new classification, not as destroyers, but as protectors. Jake stood up, feeling the weight of this moment. Prime Minister Yolan, we accept your invitation with honor. But I must tell you something important. We are not perfect. Humans can be stubborn, sometimes foolish, and yes, we can be dangerous when threatened. But we believe that all life is precious, and we will always try to protect those who cannot protect themselves. That is exactly why the galaxy needs you, General Nora said. We have many species who are peaceful like us, but we also have pirates, raiders, and others who hurt innocent people. We need someone who is strong enough to stand against them. Chief Scientist Mech added, in your technology. The way you solve problems with simple tools and creative thinking could help many worlds, improve their lives. Ambassador Keth stood up next. I have spent 2 weeks with these humans. I have seen them work. I have seen them sacrifice. I have seen them care for our children as if they were their own. Captain Morrison speaks the truth when he says humans are not perfect, but their imperfections make them stronger, not weaker. Dr. Blake was invited to speak next. We have learned much from the Volani too, she said. Your medical technology is amazing, and your peaceful ways are something we admire. We hope that working together we can make the galaxy a better place for everyone. Over the following days, Jake and his crew were taken on tours of Volani cities and shown wonders they had never imagined. They saw schools where children learned to sing to flowers and make them grow. They visited laboratories where scientists created new forms of beautiful, harmless life. They watched artists paint with light and create sculptures from crystallized music. But the most important meetings happened in the government buildings, where human and Volani leaders worked together to plan humanity's introduction to the Galactic Council. There are over 200 species in the council, Prime Minister Yolan explained to Jake during one of these meetings. Some will welcome humans immediately. Others will be afraid and suspicious. A few might even be hostile. Why hostile? Amy asked. Because some species profit from the chaos in the galaxy, General Nora replied. Pirates, slavers, and warmongers do not want strong protectors interfering with their activities. Chief Scientist Mech pulled up a holographic map of the galaxy. The Council meets on a neutral space station called Harmony Point. It orbits a star at the center of the galaxy, where no single species can claim territory. When will the meeting be? Jake asked. In 3 months, Prime Minister Yolan said. That will give us time to prepare and send messages to other friendly species. You want to make sure you have allies when you arrive. Ben looked at the map with interest. What about the species that are already afraid of us? What can we do about them? Ambassador Keth said simply, tell them about the rescue. Let them know who humans really are. Their visit to Volani Prime came to an end. Jake realized that everything had changed. When they first answered that distress call, they thought they were just helping some people in trouble. But they had actually started something much bigger. They had opened the door for humanity too. Join the galaxy as equals and protectors.